it's Gaz from 4Games Apocalypse here, and welcome to The Messenger. The Messenger is going to be a weekly news show which I talk about random things on the internet, including video games, esports, random bits of culture, and also tabletop gaming. First off, in gaming news, Rocksteady have finally released their first out of many patches for Batman Arkham Knight on PC. Batman Arkham Knight was released a couple days ago, and unfortunately its PC port didn't run very well, which included frequent crashes, a 30 FPS lock frame rate, and it just didn't work really, in all honesty. After talking with a couple of people who already had the game to try and get some sort of idea of what was going on, they said that it just didn't work, and sometimes couldn't even install the thing on Steam. So now Rocksteady have come out and said, look, we're going to try and fix this as soon as possible, and the first patch was released today, which is going to be fixing the bug that turns off the ambient occlusion, and also the bug that turns off the rain, which is a bit odd. Rocksteady have stated that they are working on a huge list of fixes which can be found on their forums, alongside a post saying, although we are making good progress, it will take some time to ensure that we get the right fixes in place. The list includes drivers for both AMD and Nvidia, random crash fixes, and also unlocking that 30 FPS frame rate that had been angering the entire internet so much. Also this past weekend, Atlas has finally shown off another trailer for Persona 5. Persona 5, for people who don't know, is the next in the Shin Megami Tensei Persona series that's being released, hopefully by the end of this year. The trailer, if I spoke Japanese, should reveal some extra parts about the story, and also some new gameplay and cutscenes. The trailer starts off with the protagonist, or at least his persona, talking and showing off a little bit of gameplay. The gameplay in itself involves some combat, or at least some sort of in-game cinematic, but also shows off some of the cutscenes. We also get to see the three supporting characters, which includes a boy, a girl, and a cat ninja thing. They actually, it seems in the gameplay, most of them are starting to use guns, which is probably going to change a lot of things, or at least I want to see what that ends up in the combat. I'm really looking forward to what this actually comes out as, because after playing the previous Persona games, I'm looking for a nice change. I mean, I think a lot of the people in the series love how the Persona franchise has evolved, but it would also be nice to see what they can do to change that formula. Persona 5 should be out at the end of this year. Now, onto tabletop news. Now, for people who don't know, or who might not know, Warhammer Fantasy Battles is the other pretty much flagship franchise, apart from 40k, produced by Games Workshop. And being a fantasy player myself, I've been looking forward to the new release of the new edition, or well, 9th edition, or what some people are calling it Age of Sigmar. Now we've actually been able to get some sort of information out of that since Games Workshop have come out and said, this is Age of Sigmar, this is coming out, but we're not going to tell you what it is yet. Now, over the past weekend, there have been some leaks on some of the online sites showing off pretty consistent information, which we're going to go through now. Now, I will say this, these are leaks, they are not 100% true, we don't know until things are released. Pictures that were leaked showing off some of the Age of Sigmar starter sets, which includes 2 new factions. It seems what they are, most people have been kind of calling them fantasy space marines. I can kind of see where they're coming from. They're very ironclad, big burly dudes, a couple of angels, and one probably their leader character, at least riding some sort of battle cat thing. They are going to be versing some chaos, which the chaos looks pretty standard. Big burly dudes with their shirts off, throwing things. That's just what chaos do. The models themselves have been shown off in the pictures to at least be on round bases. A lot of the rumours recently for the next edition have been saying that 9th edition should be coming out with some sort of round base. Whether it's blanket, everyone now has to use round bases, or it's an optional thing depending on what type of game you're actually playing, it would be interesting to see what they do with it. Me personally, I prefer the square bases because my preference with fantasy is that it's a grand strategy game. If they come out with a skirmish game similar to Mordheim, I'm not going to complain. The starter set supposedly does not come with a mini rulebook, however 4 sheets of rules, which also kind of points towards a skirmish type game, because surely if it was going to be a large amount, there were going to be lots of things going on, it's going to be a grand strategy, there would be more rules in place. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they come out with. And because of how the starter set is set up, it seems to be implying that it is some sort of small skirmish game, but also it's going to be a cheaper alternative for people who want to start getting into the hobby. Having less amount of models and also having round bases means that people can play with less models and just have fun, which I applaud Games Workshop for doing, but a lot of the people are looking to see what is going to change from 9th, but I guess we really won't find out until Saturday the 4th of July for when the pre-orders come out, and which you can head down to any game shop or Games Workshop and ask them because they should have their demo kits by then. Quick update, during the writing of this script we did manage to find another leak talking about what's in the Age of Sigmar box and what they're trying to go for with this. The actual leak comes out as some sort of marketing brief going out to all hobby shops and game shops in the area, talking about this is what we're going to do and this is what our plans are. So the actual release manages to confirm, or at least what we think, is what's going to be in the Age of Sigmar box, which is going on of the rumours and the pictures that were released a few days ago. The two armies that are going to be inside the box are called the Stormclad Ethereals and the Khorne Goretide, so Humans vs Chaos. We also have the 4-page rule sheet confirmed, but also with a 96-page background book, which is probably going to contain all the fluff. It's probably going to be going along similar lines of what 40k had, which is they had one main rulebook and two fluff rulebooks for 7th edition. And this also seems to scale because on the actual release brief, they did say that anyone with regardless of the size of the army, can get involved in some sort of shape or fashion. We have small skirmish games, but also the chance of grand strategy games. And one thing that should go out, which should at least make everyone who plays 8th happier, is that all current army books will be supported with a new release. They're just going to be releasing updates to them, which is nice because I would like to be able to keep my dwarves because I haven't finished painting them yet. Games Workshop, looking at you. I would like to be able to use them again, at least. Games Workshop have come out and said, at least on this release brief, that they're going to be supporting this Age of Sigmar thing for the next couple of years, which is nice because if they just say, oh, we're just going to go with 40k, that would be a bit of a pisser. They've also, at least in the release brief, we haven't really seen much on what their release schedule is, or even if they're going to bring out a full rulebook. I would think that just because this is the start of the new edition, they want to get a quick reference sheet guide with all the rules on it out as soon as possible into the hands of the public, so people can play it, play test it, and see what happens. But we should be able to work out what's going on within the next couple months. That has been your beginning of the week update from the Messenger. If we did miss anything at all, please let us know in the comments below, and always remember, don't shoot the messenger. See you next time.